In the stellar queendom of Rhea, the Sisters of the Host do all they can to protect the hearts and lives of its people. Rhea, spanning most of the known galaxy, is beset by forces within and without who would drag all into oblivion and despair. Aliens of uncertain intent traverse the queendom's borders, all while internal hatred and distrust would tear the people apart, as older, fouler things in the darkness wait to see their plans birth a terrible future. The hosts are the creations of the Dreaming Queen, mystically and genetically endowed super soldiers that give heart and body to protect the Queen and her people. Come and join us for their stories.
Greetings, subjects, and welcome back to Rose&Crescent, Blood and Sparkles, powered by Fabula Ultima. I'm Isaac. I am your Royal Herald, or GM if you prefer. In case you haven't been here previously, although I do hope you have been here previously, let's have the players introduce themselves, starting with Ira.
Hi, I'm Ira. I play Alyssa.
Hi, I'm JP. I play Petra.
Hello, I'm Rin, and I play Chiyako of the Silent Luminaries.
Alright, so, when last we left off, our heroines had arrived at the Bay of Sanson, and things started happening. Monstrous things. So instead of the normal ask a question back and forth, we're just going to dive right back into things. So here is a brief recap.
Previously on Rose&Crescent.
Our sisters made their way to the Tartarus Gate, the very edge of the galaxy in the Kypernian Reach, where the Sisters of the Mourning Vigilance keep guard against the terrors beyond. Between a reluctant aspirant, a looming pilot, and a swooning scientist, even at the edge of it all, mysteries and tangled webs of relationships abound. And this was all before the extragalactic monster decided to attack.
Alarms are sounding. Mourning Vigilance sisters and some auxiliaries are rushing to their action stations. Min Kyung looks at you and says, "This is not your ship. You don't have to aid. However, if you wish to chip in, your assistance would not go amiss."
What is a sister's duty but to serve? What would you have us do to aid you?
She exits out of her lab, bidding you to follow, the dinner prepared now growing cold. Battle stations are over there. Although if you have any technical skills that'll keep our systems from failing on us, those would not go amiss either. And cutting out of dialogue real quick, this is going to be a clock. Yay! And it's going to be an 8-segment clock over the course of 6 rounds, which means you better do some stuff.
I feel like I'm back at home.
As you're hurrying along, Min Kyung calls up a sensor feed and does a projection from the gem on her armor, and you see the monster that's attacking you. It's a weird mixture or hybrid. It looks like what happens when an amoeba tries to be a mantis shrimp, while also being an albino. You have pieces of it forming into hard chitinous or semi-chitinous appendages, only to retract back into the more amorphous form of it, and it is uncomfortably close to the ship. So, you have options. You can go to a weapon station and attack it from there. You can try to maintain systems. If you have some other clever idea to fill up your clock and fend this creature off before it gets too close or possibly gets past you, throw those out there. This is now round 1.
Is there anyone on the ground fighting it? Or is it all behind bigger weaponry?
It's behind bigger weaponry. You're in the ship and it's out in the void of space.
I wish I could be out in the void of space. I'm gonna help shoot it then.
Min Kyung gets to the bridge to assume command. I assume you follow her and go into one of the weapon stations.
Yes.
Alright, in that case, roll me an insight and dexterity check to fire at this creature.
Before I do that, I would like to cast divination.
Fun times, alright.
Alright, insight and dexterity you said?
Yes, I did say.
That is going to be a 15.
Alright, that's a success. You jump into one of the weapon station. It is a large projectile gun. You jump in, grab the control sticks, and just kind of target, and go ka-ka-ka-ka-ka, sending slugs into its amorphous form, beginning the process of wearing it down. With these kind of monsters, that's typically how it is. You have to wear them down before you can go in for a killing blow. So that is one slice on the clock filled up. All right, Alyssa, what do you want to do? Going to join a weapon station? Are you going to go for systems? Do you have something else you want to try to do?
Alyssa will... I assume the ship has a bridge?
Yes, that was where Min Kyung was heading towards.
Alyssa will head to the bridge and offer her aid in coordination and organizing.
All right. You go to the tactical station, look at the host sister there, and quickly fall into sync, organizing, relaying, and making sure orders are communicated. If you want to roll me an insight and willpower roll, please.
Certainly.
That is a 5. That is a failure. Do you want to use
that is not
Fabula?
Good. I think I'm going to use... Well, let's see if I have something I can use a Fabula point for. Ooh. I will go with theme of angry perfectionist.
Right,
1 and a 4. I think I'll re-roll both of those. 6. Nice.
That is still a no. Do you want to spend further points?
I'll spend 1 more point invoking Agent of the Queendom Bureaucracy. 1 more try. 8.
Luckily for your particular task of choice, an 8 is enough. Sadly, those doubles don't count as a critical.
Sadly, they do not.
However, you do fill up another slice on the clock. However, you were having trouble, and as you're trying to get things to work, get the various compartments and systems to talk to each other, you do notice that unless these sisters are woefully inept, these systems should be talking to each other.
When you say systems, do you mean different systems of command or different computer systems?
Computer systems. All right, moving on to Petra. Chiyako jumped into a weapon station and started firing at it, wishing that she could, go up and strike it herself. Alyssa went to tactical and worked on making sure commands and organizations were being adhered to. What does Petra do?
So, how much does Alyssa share about the computer systems not talking to each other?
If she wants to tell you, she can. You guys communicate over the coordinates, so you don't have to worry about shouting or distance before a certain point.
I would say if you check in on her, she would share the information with you, but right now she's just at she's still at the troubleshooting level of what's going on here.
So, Alyssa's not shouting out, what the heck is wrong with these systems? She's just focusing on fixing the systems.
Okay. Petra doesn't really have much to do in a situation like this, so she is going to actually look over to Alyssa and say, where do I need to be?
At shooting things, why don't you get on one of the big guns and hit it hard?
She starts walking over to one of the weapon stations. I don't exactly know how to use one of these.
It's the same physics principle, but scaled up.
So just get a bead, pull a trigger?
Shoot around to a high enough velocity to cause massive damage. Make sure that it arrives at the target.
Petra looks at Alyssa for a couple seconds. Comes over to Min Kyung. I don't exactly know how to use one of these things. Is there something you need me to do?
Our fighters are getting beat pretty bad out there. Are you good at fixing things?
So. I could pilot the fighter, I believe.
Well, then go down there and either fix one or get in one.
She just nods and starts running.
While these aren't stone walls that you can just plow through, you've been in enough combat situations to push yourself to move quickly. And between running and pushing people out of the way to get into the lifts to go down a level, you manage to get to the hangar bay and jump in. I'm going to need a piloting roll to get yourself into position.
That is going to be what?
I'm going to say that's going to be a dexterity and dexterity for this one.
14, critical.
You hop in, and you've been in this kind of fighter before, and it's like slipping a glove on. You hop in, press in, make sure your helmet is closed, shell goes down, and you are out. And you're not exactly in formation with the others, however, that does give you a little bit of an opportunity to shoot forward and just start plowing into this thing with the fighter's onboard weaponry. And in fact, you manage to zoom ahead, and while one wing of fighters is distracting it, you manage to hit it on a couple of what appears to be its softer spots. And I assume you're going for the filling additional slices?
That's correct.
All right. And that puts you up to 5 out of the 8 you need. Petra, as you're looking at this thing up close, yeah, it's as ugly as it sounded, and it's quite uglier up close. It stretches and pulls itself, shifting from amorphous to chitinous. Well, you're glad space is a vacuum, because listening to it shift like that would probably not be a pleasant experience. However, it now has its eye on you, and that is the end of the first round. You 3 are doing rather well. Alright, in round 2, who wishes to go first?
Petra gets on the comms. Chiyako,
Yes.
remember that time we blew a giant hole in the monster and then I tossed a grenade in it?
I do believe so.
You want to try that again?
Let's try it again.
So the plan is to wait for Chiyako to give a good punch to this thing, and then I'll fire one of the fighter's missiles.
Alright, so in that case, Chiyako, you first. Insight and dexterity, please.
Can I go for the eye?
You can. That'll make it a bit more difficult, but you can.
Alright, what modifier? Or not a modifier, huh?
Yes, it's going to increase the difficulty. You're going to need a 13 or higher.
Ooh, that's gonna be a 12. I should probably use my divination, huh?
This would be a good opportunity for it, yes.
For a lucky 7.
You know, Petra, you're right. Lucky 7 would be perfect. I can replace the 5 with a 7 and get 14 and doubles.
Chiyako, you're looking at this thing and you're looking at its eyes. In this case, it would be 2 gigantic blue orbs just extruding from its mass. Different permutations and possibilities flow through your mind. And then you go to press the trigger, stop for a second, adjust your aim just slightly, and fire. So not only do you hit, but you also get a critical. While you were planning on gouging it open so Petra could fire in, you just managed to lock eyes with it, shoot it in its sensory orbs, which opens up a hole in it, and you actually managed to do a double shot. One taking out the eyes and the other going into the hole you made, thus not killing it, but blinding it and turning it away that it actually goes back into the interstellar void.
Oops, sorry, Petra.
Hey, it was still my idea. I'm taking credit for this one.
That's fair, I don't mind.
So Petra, you feel a little let down, but that feeling quickly fades in face of a big old monster essentially turning tail and running back into the darkness between galaxies.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. Like I said, it went exactly according to my plan.
You return, and you're getting cheers from the Mourning Vigilance sisters who are there. While up on the bridge, Min Kyung is relieved slightly, but is just like, damage report, at which point the tactical officer next to you, Alyssa, says minimal damage, but then Min Kyung says, how in the Queen's name, how in Hyun's name, did that thing get so close? At which point the entire bridge just kind of goes silent.
It appears... Oh, my apologies. Permission to speak. It's been a while since I've been in a proper chain of command.
Granted.
I couldn't help but overlook that your various systems do not appear to be sharing information with each other. For example, the system that is supposed to track your firing systems and thus note when ammo needs to be moved towards them to reload a magazine is not sharing that particular information with the system that unlocks the ammunition in the armory so it can be delivered to the magazine.
Is this a systems failure issue, or has someone been in the system?
I don't know. These systems should be communicating with each other so they can all coordinate. The fact that they are not is a critical error. I suspect the system that's supposed to detect an incoming hostile probably did not communicate that information with the system that warns people of an incoming hostile.
At which point Min Kyung looks at her tactical officer and says, full diagnostics now. At which point she says, yes ma'am. Initial damage seems to be minimal. While we get diagnostics on that, I want a proper damage report, she says to another officer. I'll be in my quarters, she says, and she starts heading off the bridge.
I assume I am dismissed, given I do not have a stated responsibility or duty aboard this ship.
That would be a fair assessment.
Alyssa says to, a nearby officer.
The tactical officer looks up at you and says, that would be a fair assessment. Your aid up to this point has been appreciated, however, she says.
Thank you. I'll be in my quarters.
Chiyako skips over to Alyssa and pats her on the back.
Oh, what are you?
Did good.
We did our jobs.
And we did good jobs.
Indeed you did. Alyssa, you're heading to your quarters. Chiyako, you're following after. Petra is coming up to meet up with you two, and as you two are in the halls about to run into each other, you hear the scream of two people. One is a feminine voice saying, "Sisters!" And another one is a more masculine voice, albeit a young one, shouting, "Alyssa!"
What? The actual... She will turn around and look in the direction of the voices.
They came a little bit down the hall.
Petra doesn't hesitate, she just runs.
Alyssa will follow.
Chiyako also turns and runs.
You run not too far, at least not for you, and you see multiple things. You see on the ground, Il-sung, injured and bleeding, or standing above him, you see a form in the shadows of the hall, kind of leaning forward as if they're reaching out towards the children. And then you see the children. You see Kana, as well as Yarrick, still covered in blue paint. See, the shadowed figure looks up, sees you, and books it down the hall. Who wants to go first?
Petra?
On it! And she's going to activate her transhuman ability.
So you're activating your transhuman ability, and your dexterity is being upped.
And she's not going to bother to draw a weapon. She's not going to worry about things like knowing what she's going to do when she gets there. She's just targeting this thing. Her only real plan is that when she gets there, she's going to run into it really, really hard.
You're charging after the figure. I am going to need to make sure to keep up with their maneuvers as well as to try to push yourself forward. I'm going to need a dexterity and might check from you.
That is an 11.
You are 1 point off.
I'm definitely going to use a Fabula point.
All right, have at.
A 13.
There we go. You're pushing forward. This figure is going through the hallways, trying to get away from you. And as you go, they attempt to do that whole jump, run across the wall, then jump back down before gravity hits you sort of thing. Does that multiple times to avoid crashing into other individuals. But eventually, you manage to get it around a corner, drift, and tackle the individual. You tackle the individual, you got them on the ground, they're struggling. How do you grab them?
With punches.
Do you flip them forward so you can punch them more directly in the face so it hurts more?
No, I'm keeping them on their stomachs so that I can punch them without them fighting back.
As you're pounding, they try to turn, and at one point they do manage to get their head up to get a quick glance at who you are, at which point the individual says, "Petra?"
Who is it?
You stop punching just long enough to realize that it's a Kaimon you're punching.
Which Kaimon?
You turn this individual fully over to have a clear look at their face, and it's Hara from Brackwin, in all of her green with a slight of brown skin and pink hair and eyes. A bit bruised out since you've been wailing on her, but yeah, it's Hara.
Look at her. This is probably a spot where you have a really, really good explanation for what you've been doing. Hey, Alyssa, guess who it is?
And we're going to zoom back.
As Petra and the figure go dashing off, there is Kana and Yarrick.
There's also
there's Il-sung on the ground, bleeding out.
Yes. Alyssa is immediately going to say, Chiyako.
Yes.
On him.
Of course. And she is going to deliver her best medical attention. After all, she needs him on his feet for later.
I'm having Princess Bride flashbacks.
while that is happening, Alyssa will head over to York and...
Oh yeah, Alyssa hasn't actually talked to Kana.
yes.
Judging by how she's dressed, she is an initiate. So you know that much, just looking at her. Yarrick is just like, is he going to be okay? What's going on?
Chiyako is very good at putting people back together. Hopefully he will be fine. What happened here? Alyssa will be asking this to the initiate, not...
Fair enough. At which point, the initiate, Kana, says, all right, so when the alarm started going off, I went to a secure location while I was supposed to. I was with Yarrick, and I figured best I took him with me. We went there. We stayed there. When the alarms stopped, we poked our head out, and I saw movement, and I followed after, and Yarrick followed me, and that's when we found that guy with the blood and the figure and everything.
So you only saw the aftermath of whatever occurred here?
Yes.
All right. Just making sure to confirm the limits of your witness testimony. Are you safe?
Oh, I'm fine, she says.
Good.
A little bit of hesitation when she says fine, but that's what she says. And Yarrick, he's calming down now, although he has grabbed your hand.
Just to confirm here, you're one of Petra's trainees, I believe?
Oh, Petra is the other host sergeant, drill sergeant that was visiting. Yes. I'm being trained here, at least until we go to the main fleet. But my drill sergeant Yusun decided to give a tour of your ship, and that's when I happened, says Yarrick.
Wow. So that's why you were near Yarrick here.
Yes, he ran into me, got blue paint all over my clothes, and I kind of chased after him.
Very good of you doing that. Now, Yarrick, we discussed this before. If you're going to be wandering around the ship, a crew member of the ship needs to know where you are at all times.
Is she not a crew member?
She is a crew. She is part of a different crew.
Well, we weren't on Alona's Heart when all of this happened, so I figured I should follow her.
Better that you're near a staff member than not, but you need to stay near the ship, or at least have a specific escort.
Yes, Alyssa, he says as his eyes go to his shoes.
If that last crisis had gone terribly bad, we might have to evacuate this ship, and we would have to figure out where, and someone would have to go out and try and find you.
So
we both know that you grow into some very difficult to find hiding spots.
I am really good at that. And as you just kind of look at Yarrick with probably no small amount of consternation, Chiyako, I'm going to need a dexterity and insight roll out of you to patch him up long enough for the Mourning Vigilance to get here and take him to the med bay.
Will do. Oh, that's a 9.
All right. He is a squishy human, but you manage to patch him up. And as you do so, that's when Petra calls into Alyssa. And that's when the Mourning Vigilance medical officers get there, and they put him onto the thing and cart him there. And then Min Kyung comes up shortly thereafter that, sees him injured on the gurney, and says, "What happened here?"
This wasn't my doing, I swear.
"Despite your eccentricities," she says, "I know this is not something you would do," she says as she goes up to Il-sung and takes his hand.
Chiyako, please don't make the situation worse with your
I wasn't
humor.
making it worse.
Yes, we're not entirely sure. We are currently... Whatever occurred here happened before any witnesses were able to see what happened. That being said, my compatriot Petra has obtained the other known involved party in whatever happened here.
At which point, one of the medical officers leans in and says, "This was an assault, and I do believe they were aiming to kill." At which point, Min Kyung gets on the line and says, "Lock down the entire deck and 2 decks above and below it now." At which point, alarms start going off, a different set of alarms, and you can hear the closing and sealing of various doors throughout the deck. Okay.
Is there a way of getting out of this sealed area, by the way? I would like it if we could transfer Lisa gestures for Yorick back to our ship. His mother will probably be worried.
At which point, Min Kyung says, "I'm keeping the deck sealed until we find out what happened. We can put him in guest quarters."
Yeah, that is the compromise we'll have to accept. Protocols are protocols.
At which point they take Ilsung away, and that's when Petra chimes in with Alyssa.
I'm gonna go meet with Petra's guest. You're welcome to join me if you would like.
Thank you. Now, Petra, do you drag Hara to them, or are you holding her there until they arrive?
Okay, so just for my personal reference, can I do this?
Hara is the Kaimon whose leg you shot off.
Right. Okay.
Although looking at her, you notice that she seems to have her leg again. I mean, she tried kicking you a few times while you were trying to while you were subduing her. That's when Chiyako, Alyssa, and Min Kyung show up, and you two see Hara.
Well, hello, Hara. What are you doing here?
Why do we keep finding you in situations like this?
I don't try to be in these situations. I really don't.
Has Petra already allowed her up yet, or are you still pinning her down?
Oh no, she's still on the ground.
Petra, get up.
At which point Min Kyung looks at Hara, looks at you, and says, "You know this alien?" An edge to her voice.
An incident a few weeks back. She was involved in... Please, that detail is very concerning out of context.
Take a Fabula.
Yeah. An incident a fair number of weeks back. Basically, there was conflict between a queendom colony and a colony that was on the planet, a older colony that was on the planet but had been hidden up to that point. It turns out a third party was purposely trying to exacerbate conflict between the two colonies in hopes that they could use that as cover for a large raid they were going to perform upon the Cayman colony. This individual was a member of that colony and acted as a liaison between us and that colony to help resolve the situation. I haven't any clue why she is on this ship.
Remember when I told you about the whole artifact thing and the melting flesh into technology?
I don't think you had gotten to that part yet, says Min Kyung.
Oh, well, that's where we met her.
She goes over to Hara, looks her up and down, grabs a little bit of Hara's hair, feels it, then puts a collar on her coronet, ready a day-night cell, and shortly thereafter, some Mourning Vigilance come to escort Hara to a holding cell. "We're not going to have this conversation out in the hall," she says.
That is very logical, yes.
Everyone who's watching, roll me an insight and insight check.
Open or close?
I'll say open.
A 10.
It's 16.
Chiyako, probably because you have previous experience with her. Alyssa, probably just because you're good at, quickly reading and dissecting people and situations. Petra, you grasp it, but maybe not as quickly, but you can tell Min Kyung is very much on edge at the moment. Between the monster attack, what appears to be some sort of sabotage, the attempted murder, she is... well, a lot is happening, and she is not liking it. And so Hara gets taken to the holding cell. See, when it was referred to as a day-night cell, that is because apparently the lighting in this particular cell is meant to mimic a day-night cycle. And currently, the light is fairly minimal going into the night part of the day-night cycle. Who's doing the questioning?
We all know who's doing the questioning.
Is the camera focusing on me? Time to investigate.
As you go into the cell, there's Danu. She's patching up Hara. Nothing too drastic, but this is the sort of situation that you would put some disinfectant on and put some band-aids on it, so that's what she's doing. Hara looks at Danu and says, "Well, good to see your hands have gotten more tender, at least." And Danu is just like, "Yeah, I can make it hurt if you want to." "Please don't," says Hara in return. At which point Danu looks up at you, Alyssa, nods, and packs her bag up and heads out.
Hara.
Alyssa.
I guess my first question is, how did you end up here?
Would you believe me if I said accidentally?
I'd be far more concerned if you told me that you were here on purpose.
Okay, fair. Alright, so... How to put... A lot happened? Or at the very least, enough that it's... Okay.
Best start from the beginning.
After you left, and the talks between the human colony, Braquin, and Hadris, the settlement as a whole, not Hadris the tree, had concluded. Hadris, our tree, along with Darshal, said that we should send someone out to update our information on the going-ons in what you call the Kypernian Reach. After everything that happened with Braquin, we thought it best to make sure something like that didn't blindside us again. So, having had the most peaceful interactions with you, I volunteered. I took a small ship and left, and I started looking around, exploring, listening in. And then when I was in the Dyfed system, I got into a fight with some Queendom ships. And because I wasn't trying to, destroy them, as a gesture of goodwill, my ship ended up getting pretty damaged. And... Okay. And in the midst of assessing that and trying to figure that out, one of the bigger ships that had attacked me, assuming that I was deactivated and going to die, luckily came on ships tend to run more quiet than your Queendom vessels.
I see.
They thought I was derelict, and when they activated their, what do you call it? When they went into that weird dimension that you folks use for traveling.
The dreaming.
Right, yeah. I guess you'd say I got caught in its wake.
Oh, no.
And it deposited me here. Now, because I was being pulled along by it, it pulled me past initial, I would assume, would be the ship's initial sensor range. Couple that with my ship's ability to run quiet, I kind of gently direct myself into an open bay. And from there, I've been gathering materials to fix my ship. It's been slow going because I'm trying not to be seen. Occasionally having to override certain protocols in the ship's computer.
You did what to the computer?
I had to hide my tracks.
See, you're the reason we didn't see the jelly shrimp ahead of time.
Oh, Chiyako, you're in the room.
Also, Fabula point for jelly shrimp.
Apologies, I had to creep in and see.
Alright, that explains why you're on the ship. We're going to return to some of those points, but keep the story going. What occurred between you and Ilsun?
Nothing.
Nothing. You found him like that?
Well, so I was sneaking along. There was a computer terminal near where you found him. And thinking back on it, that tracks. There is a computer terminal near where you found him. I was planning on making sure that wasn't me that had triggered all those big alarms and seeing where I could get the next piece of material I needed to fix my ship. And that's when I saw those two arguing.
Those two?
Yes, the injured one and the one who injured him. I didn't have a good look at him, unfortunately. His back was to me. They were in some sort of heated argument. Blows were struck, and he ran like the wind. I was actually going over to check on him because of my experience with you. I have a slightly nicer opinion of humans, so I wanted to make sure he wasn't going to die. And that's when the juveniles showed up and started screaming.
Of course.
They're very good at that.
Yes, it's good they're very good at that. If they were not, they would be very easy to harm by malicious actors. Hara, why didn't you go to the colony and ask them to send a message to us so we could tell you our location, so we could meet, so we could either wait for you or tell you our next location so we could meet you there?
I specifically wasn't seeking you out. The fact that you're here is fortuitous for me, I guess?
I suppose. Who or what have you been seeking out?
As I said, I've just been gathering information about the current state of things, what the humans are up to. I'm updating our information.
Very noble mission. We'll get back to that. You got into a fight with Queendom ships in a bit, but before we do that, so you witnessed someone harming the individual you witnessed being harmed.
Yes.
Where did they go?
They ran down one of the halls.
Can you describe them?
As I said, their back was to me. They were a man, definitely. Smaller than most of the people on this ship. Man dressed in, you'd call them civilian clothes?
Civilian clothes. Alright.
They were in some kind of argument. Words were going back and forth really fast. I think the one that went on the ground said something about going and talking to the commander of the vessel. And that's when the injury happened.
The person saying going to the commander was the individual injured?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Alright. You are exceptionally lucky that we were here to find you. We're going to have a very long conversation of what is
well, that's why I've been hiding
proper conduct when traveling the galaxy. One of the things you did to the system to keep it from detecting you. You would not happen to be knowledgeable enough of it that you could easily reverse it, would you?
I mean, I can tell you what I did, sure. I doubt your friends would want me in their systems again, but I can tell them what I did.
That will hopefully be a good first gesture to get them from putting a bullet through your head. Anyways, thank you for the information. We'll be conducting further investigations, so if there is anything you wish to adjust to the testimony you've given us, please get in contact as soon as possible.
All right. Something comes to mind, sure. Are the juveniles okay?
Other than witnessing the aftermath of an injury?
I'd say probably more like attempted murder myself, but...
Well, other than seeing the aftermath of an unfortunate incident, I think the child is probably fine.
Why was the other one blue?
Humanity is a diverse lot. But Alyssa is going to step out.
I can tell you about the blue later. But for now, just sit tight, okay?
It's probably safer for me in here, she says.
Very likely, yes. Bye-bye for now. And she's gonna slip out after Alyssa.
What do you do from there? Three of you are gathered. Min Kyung is at the infirmary.
We need to get into their systems and see if they caught sight of anything.
We also should probably put security on the victim to make sure whoever attempted to kill him doesn't get a second chance.
I can do that.
I'm sure we can assign someone to do it, Petra. While I do not enjoy your bull in a glass shop method, sometimes if I do need a sledgehammer, it would be nice to have one in reach.
You do care.
Really,
It's kind of funny, because Elisa's the one with the hammer.
Actually, I kind of had an idea. Alright, so, I just said, well, I have an idea. Stalwart Grove, I mean, all sisters, we're all very good at standing still. Going in first. My sisters can do a little better than others can. Wrap me up as cover me with a sheet or something. Make me look like it's just like a covered IV stick. And then when we say something to the effect of, oh, whoever was there, they're gone now. We don't have security. They wouldn't dare pulse ignite that twice. Something like that. And then, when whoever did it once decides they need to finish the job, they come in, and then I very subtly punch them in the back of the head.
Petra used the word subtly. I think it's a good plan.
Putting aside the ethics of using an injured individual as bait for a criminal, perhaps we could put that as our last step, just in case the initial investigation is unable to zero in on a potential suspect.
Bait is when you put something out in front of the target to redirect them. All we're doing is lying in wait, waiting for them to go after the actual target.
Yeah, that's not going in the after-action report. Regardless, let's focus on an investigation, see what that gives us, and then we'll plan around that.
And in the meantime, with this guy, who are we going to get to guard him?
The ship is full of sisters. I'm sure one of them has general security responsibilities.
And that's assuming Minnie leaves his side in the first place.
I was going to ask how we could make sure that nobody would trust somebody who came in, but if she's guarding him, I don't even think she put her sisters near.
I suspect so as well. And our main suspect isn't a sister currently.
That's the problem. We don't know who our main suspect is.
We don't, but but we have a few details.
Male, normal human, civilian clothing.
That could describe a lot of people on this station.
Also, once we get the injury reports from the medical staff, we'll have a knowledge of how this individual wounded him as such. That will probably limit the suspect pool as well.
I'm not going to win this one, am I? Okay. What is your plan? You always
I'm sure the opportunity to dress you as a piece of medical equipment so you can punch someone in the throat unexpectedly will come up. Just probably not today.
Life goals.
Thank you, narrator. Anyways, as I said, we need to begin our investigation. Chiyako, your initial observation of seeing what possible surveillance we may have access to is probably a good starting point. See if that information is available and see if it could be accessed.
From being here before with her own sisters, would Chiyako know how much of a security clearance she already has?
Given the circumstances and your previous history here, I don't think anyone's going to begrudge you going into the security systems.
Excellent, I have full access. I'll get to work on this right away.
Petra.
Yes.
Going by the details of what small snippets of the conversation our witness testimony managed to gather from the alleged conversation that led to the outcome, I suspect the conversation was likely something that would have been opposed by the ship's captain, thus the threat of bringing it to the captain's attention.
Yeah, that's likely.
Yes, likely. I want you to start talking to people and seeing if you can get gossip out of them to try potentially narrow down exactly what possible sentiment might be floating around that would lead to ones to plot against.
Petra just kind of does that, like, South Park blink a few times. So what you're telling me is that you want me, instead of punching something, you want me, you just recently described as a blunt instrument. to go around and have subtle conversations with people about something that they'll probably try to hide from me more than anybody else instead of punching something.
I never said subtle.
Ah, so you want me to take the blunt force approach to questioning people?
Some people, sometimes a useful way of getting information out of them is getting a nice repertoire, talking things out, and slowly making yourselves likable enough that they just hand over the information willfully. Sometimes asking people the question bluntly and then following whatever threads those answers give you works quicker.
So, let's recap. You want me to do it my way?
Don't wield physical violence if it's not justified, but otherwise, yes.
I may have to write this in my diary. Okay. Yeah, I guess I can do that.
Meanwhile, I had to update the captain on the situation and potentially make a diplomatic apology for someone screwing up the defense systems of her ship.
Why do you need to apologize for that?
Petra, if you found out that your gun isn't working because some random stranger you didn't know existed sabotaged it for reasons far too esoteric to reasonably explain, are you telling me your reaction to that would be diplomatic and forgiving?
No, I guess I'm just saying I might not blame the hobo outside my house. Why would she blame you for this? Why do we need to make an apology for something we could not have even known about, let alone control?
Because Hara's our friend. And a friend hurt another friend, and so we as friends are apologizing for that friend.
It makes us look guilty.
No.
I don't understand the rules of this. Okay. I will go question people. Let me know if you need anything. And she just kind of walks out.
Well, I'm sure Petra will have fun. Considering you have to do some sucking up, you won't have fun. I'm gonna go be a super spy now, so I'll see you later. She's just gonna skip away.
See you around, Chiyako.
So, 3 courses of action. Who wants to go first?
I will.
All right. So, you're talking to people, learning things. As you are going around talking to people in the blunt way you do, you learn a few things. Firstly, going by the scuttlebutt of the sisters and auxiliaries talking, you know that since it was Il-sung that got hurt, Min-kyung is probably very much on edge. They have a very close relationship. Some people snicker a little bit, other people slap them on the shoulder saying that's not how sisters work. You've seen this kind of rumor before. Amusing diversions for the normal people, but what they're talking about doesn't really hold water like some of them are saying. You also learn that as far as civilians go, there aren't a lot of civilians on this vessel. This is a military vessel after all. Most of the normal humans on this ship are in the auxiliary, whether that is combat or support. And as you're just kind of poking them saying, hey, tell me things, Yu-sun comes up to you. Petra, she says.
Yes. Do you have any word on your young trainee?
Well, I was going to ask if your little friend had managed to pull anything from her.
In the aftermath of the attack, there hasn't been a ton of time to check in on that particular project.
Well, as for Kana, she was already closed off. She's now especially more so. Judging by her reaction, I think she might be familiar with the person who got injured.
Yes, son?
Yes.
I will go have a talk with Chiyako and then with... Thank you.
You're welcome. At which point, she gives you a quick nod and quickly moves on out. Going over to Alyssa, you are heading to the medbay?
Correct.
You head to the medbay, and in a private room, there is Il-sung, not awake, but he seems to be stable. And there is Min-kyung, who seems to be pacing the room. She notices you come in. Alyssa,
Captain?
what did you find out from your Kamon associate? Friend?
That's probably... Associate is probably the most accurate term. According to her, she had quite the whimsical adventure, but a long story short, she managed to drift her ship in a near-dead state into one of your hangar bays. So, first, there's a security protocol you're probably going to want to review.
Clearly. She says
she's...
her voice.
Indeed. She's been sneaking around your ship trying to fix hers so she can leave. To maintain her cover, she has interfered with some of your ship's systems so they could not detect her presence.
She's probably the one behind the missing supplies then.
Missing supplies, and also likely why some of your systems have not been communicating with each other. I suspect if you do a review of the data that hasn't been properly circulating, you will be able to create quite the map of her activities.
All right.
Very clever, but...
We have an accidental alien infiltrator on board that caused our systems to not detect the monster coming to attack us from the darkness they're out.
We'll likely need to write a report to Queendom High Command about this odd hole in our security we've stumbled upon, but regardless, she alleges that she was not involved in the incident and merely witnessed it occurring while she was interfering with a computer system and hopes to continue her campaign of covert sabotage.
And you believe her?
I have no reason. I'm not going to sit here and say that I can vouch for her character. I don't know her that well, but I can say that given her past conduct, this would not fit. Her attempting to murder an individual such as this would not fit her general character.
I'll take your word for it. And her whole infiltration was accidental?
Accidental to the point that one does not take responsibility and confess to it. But yes, it was not malicious or intentional, merely circumstantial.
Not having to deal with a larger Kamon attack is a good thing in this instance, and we did survive the whole encounter, so...
That all being said, again, assuming that she is not lying, her witness testimony has given us a major lead. She was not in a situation to ID the alleged attacker, but she was able to see them from behind. It was a male in a civilian uniform having a conversation with the victim that appears to be of a personal enough nature that they should know each other. They likely know each other well. In addition, the witness testimony alleges that before the attack, the victim stated that he was going to bring whatever they were discussing to the attention of a ship's captain.
That would be me.
That would be you. That appears to, again, according to the witness testimony, been the triggering event for the attempted assassination. It implies a level of desperation rather than a well-thought-out attempt.
Il-sung is from Hermitage. There's not exactly a lot of people around that he would know, so that would imply whoever he was talking to was also from Hermitage.
That is my suspicion. It's not the strongest thread of evidence, but it is definitely... If I were to take a bet, I would gamble that it is in that direction, so I would suggest looking in that direction. How many individuals from that world are on the ship?
Currently, not counting Il-sung, 1, she says.
Well, that's... Well, if they didn't do it, it should be very easy to prove they didn't do it via investigation, I would think. Oh, you wouldn't happen to know where they're supposed to be?
The pilot Gregor, I believe, Gregor is his name. He's been allowed to wander just a little bit as a sign of goodwill. He was mostly because one of our initiates is from Hermitage, and the parents requested Gregor see them off.
I see.
Not too unusual, there's a very good chance she'll never see them again, so having somebody to make sure they go off is a kindness we can afford.
Indeed, indeed. Well, let's see if we can find this pilot.
Alright, jumping over to Chiyako. So you're given access to the systems, and you can narrow down the time to start sifting through to try to find what happened. And as you're sifting, you do eventually come across the footage of the incident. You follow Il-sung going from the captain's quarters to a secure location for the duration of the attack. The attack happens, and as he's heading out of it, he comes across someone corroborating what Hara said. They seem to be male, they're dressed in civilian clothes. They seem to see each other. The unknown man attempts to walk on by. However, Il-sung goes up to him, starts talking to him. Things get heated, and the unknown figure stabs Il-sung, looks around, and darts off.
Is there any way I can get audio?
Roll me inside and insight. Most security cameras don't typically keep audio.
Oh, that's a 4. I don't like that.
I take it you're going to...
Yes, I am. Yes. Much better, 17.
Okay. Well, luckily for you, the recent higgledy-piggledy happening in the computer systems did result in some settings being switched on that weren't on previously, and you do get some dialogue. So a bit of conversation you do manage to hear is Il-sung saying, "What are you doing here? And you're here for her, aren't you? I knew she didn't seem the type to want to join. I'm going to go tell the captain." And then that's when the stabbing occurred.
Oh, the plot thickens. Chiyako is going to take the video and audio, and she is going to send it to Petra and Alyssa, and then after that is going to try to follow the assailant.
Follow him via the cameras?
Yes.
You follow the assailant, they run off, you see them ditch the murder weapon, seem to be some kind of knife. Then they go and manage to lose themselves in a mixture of both sisters and auxiliaries.
Okay. Real quick. This person, do I recognize their face from when we first got here and there was that one guy standing around making weird faces at people like he didn't want to be there?
You do.
Excellent.
Does Chiyako have a new special friend?
Target acquired.
So where do you proceed from here?
Well, Chiyako already submitted the video and audio evidence of what she has found to her 2 compatriots. So,
You also send that information to Min-kyung?
yes, I'm gonna do that as well.
We need to find Gregor, and we also need to have a talk with Kana, says Min-kyung.
Which one do you want me to find first?
Kana is currently held in quarters, so that's easy enough. Find Gregor.
Of course. Chiyako's going to go hunting.
So since the incident, it's probably fair to assume that Gregor's been hiding. So, are you going to do the whole stalk, look around sort of thing, or do you have some particular hunting method in mind?
Well, she got as far as she could with the surveillance system, so that is where she is going to start. And she's going to stalk from there.
You go to where you saw Gregor disappear into the crowd in the footage, and you begin from there. Roll me insight and insight.
That is an 8.
Not a good start. You're looking around. There are a number of different ways that he could have gone from here.
May I use a Fabula point?
You may.
Excellent. 11. Much better.
Indeed. You stop, look around, kind of take in everything. You've hunted people before, both human and alien. One dinky little pilot in a closed deck should not be an issue for you. You look around, checking exit routes, and you think you find the best route, and you start going forward. While you do that, let's jump back to Alyssa and Petra. What are you two doing from here?
Shall we go interview one of our newest sisters?
Min Kyung is letting you take lead on this. She's going to stay where she is. She'll be listening in, however. Her rationale being that having the captain of the ship might be a bit too distracting in the conversation.
That's what you think.
At this point, Kana and Yark are in the initiate bunks. Yark seems to be going a little stir-crazy, but he hasn't tried crawling through any of the vents yet. Kana is just kind of like laying on her bed, staring up at the ceiling. "Hi, Alyssa," says Yark, and then Kana immediately jumps to attention.
At ease. Yes. Hello, Yark. Kana, we're going to need to interview you for a bit. Some information has come to our attention that you might have useful insights on.
Yes, ma'am. As you say.
Now, Yark, we're going to be transferring you to someone else, so I'm going to ask you to very kindly try to be polite for this individual.
Right, he says. At which point you direct Yark to where Min Kyung is standing down the hall. He goes up to her and starts pelting her with questions. She tries to be measured in her responses.
So once we have some amount of privacy, Alyssa will ask her first question. Now, to just confirm some details, you recently joined the sisters from Hermitage?
Yes, ma'am, she says. My parents are homesteaders there.
I see. There's been some tension between the sisters and Hermitage, correct? They are not of the queendom?
Well, from the way I hear it, most of the people who come to Hermitage do it to get away from other people, especially governments and rules and meddlesome things and some curse words that my parents tell me not to repeat.
Libertine of them.
So the sisters, as far as, the sisters have come, people were always respectful. The Hermitage wants to be left alone, but the sisters need to maintain a presence here, so Hermitage talks to them because they have to.
They tolerate us, if you will.
Yes.
And how did you find yourself interested in joining the sisters?
Oh, I was born and raised on Hermitage. The sisters come and they talk to us. There's an exchange of shipments. They make sure the area is safe from the monsters that come in from out there. And, that seems like a good... That seems to be an honorable calling, she says.
Seems to be.
And joining the sisters and helping people seems like the right thing to do, she says. Roll me insight and insights. Open check.
Insight and insight. Roll. Any modifier?
I'll give you a +1. You've had a lot of experience dealing with some children now, so... And you were an initiate once, you remember. Oh, Nelly, 21, okay.
Not bad.
Not bad. It's huge.
Yeah.
That is very impressive, yes. All right, you're listening to her, and there are points when she's talking that this is clearly rote memorization that she's heard, and she's just kind of repeating. It's what she expects adults to want to hear.
Okay.
You've heard tell that she has been hesitant before. You can definitely see that in her mannerisms. She's telling you what she expects you want to hear, and she is holding stuff back.
Petra,
Yes.
I just realized there are some security concerns, that vulnerabilities within the lockdown procedure. Could you quickly go to the captain and show her these vulnerabilities so that our wanted individual does not escape the section?
I'm pretty sure I briefed her pretty clearly, actually.
Alyssa will lean in and match your eyes. And maybe, just in case, you can review them with her again somewhere else.
Right, yes. Review somewhere else. So I will go somewhere else and review them somewhere else. Yes.
Take Yorick with you. I'm sure he'll be deeply entertained by such a tour.
She looks like she's about ready to object and just kind of shakes her head a little bit and says, all right, security vulnerabilities.
All right, so Petra, you head down the hall. You know how you have children who give you like rapid fire questions and you're just like, yes, no, what, okay, sure, whatever. That's kind of what's going on with Min Kyung and Yarick at the moment. As you walk up, Yarick is just like, hey, Petra.
Yarick? Captain? Hey, Yarick.
Yes?
How about we go get ice cream?
They have ice cream?
You know? I'm sure it's worth finding out. Come on.
Yay. At which point, he kind of runs up and climbs up onto you by the back.
Do our coordinates reach into the captain's setup as well?
You guys have been linked, yes.
Please, 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 by the Queen, tell me you have ice cream.
At which point she looks at you and goes, yeah, we have ice cream.
Okay, yeah, let's go do that. That's a thing. That's a thing that kids like, yeah?
Obviously, yes.
So yeah, she's now got her minion on her shoulder, and she is off to terrorize some other part of the station. She says, Captain, would you come with us and show us where this is at?
Roll me willpower and insight.
Okay.
To persuade her.
11.
You needed a 13.
Totally gonna spend a Fabula point.
Seems like a proper course of things to do, yes.
And if I don't have ice cream with the captain, I will never, ever, ever make Chiyako jealous. We'll spend another one.
That gets you to a total. Hold on. Remember, you can also use bonds to increase one of the dice rolled by 1.
I'm absolutely going to use the one I have with Alyssa.
Sounds like a good plan. So that's another Fabula point spent, and you really want Alyssa's plan to work, so you're just like, Captain, come on, get some ice cream with us. So with some Fabula point shenanigans, you get yourself to a 13, and Min Kyung is just like, fine, come, see my ship, young child. Maybe you'll join the auxiliary in the future. Come on.
Petra kind of mutters under her breath, just very slightly. I survived the trials for this. Ice cream with a child.
Life takes you in many interesting directions sometimes. Once you are sure that they have departed, you are now alone, as you can be, with Kana.
So, now that we have a more private opportunity to a conversation, let me lay out the cards as they stand. I am obviously biased towards the sisters, but I have little to no investment, personal investment, in the relationship between this local chapter and your homeworld.
Okay, she says.
So, I'm going to ask you simply to not tell me what you think I want to hear, or you think is safe to tell me, and I want you to give me your real opinion and view of things, and in return, I will do my best to accept them as they are.
Roll me insight and willpower, and I'll give you a +1 bonus.
Oop. That is exceptionally terrible.
That's a 4. Good grief.
That's a 4. Let's see if I got something I used to re-roll that. 1 and a 2, respectively.
That is painful, yes.
Yeah. Boop, boop. I would like to invoke my origin of Pragmatin Governor's Daughter. I am way more diplomatic than this.
The floor acknowledges the invocation.
That is a lot better.
All right, that's an 11. That is a success. You are dealing with a young teenage child, but still a child.
Right.
At which point she looks at you, and you stare her deep in the eye, and she starts to cry. Not heavy bawling, but tears coming out of her eyes, and she goes, "I did it to protect my parents."
I'm going to be very honest. That statement implies a lot to unpack. So I'm going to start with a basic question. Why did you become a sister?
There's a man back on Hermitage who said if I didn't join, my parents would suffer an accident.
So blackmail.
Yes. I saw him murder a man who refused to sell his homestead to him. He didn't think I was there at first, then he saw that I was there, and he said, "Go off with the host sisters next time they come around, or, well, your parents will be next."
If I may ask, has he maintained a means of communication with you?
The pilot Gregor works for him.
Ah. So he manages communication with his regular trips here, I presume?
I haven't been on the ship that long. We're waiting until another ship from the main fleet comes to pick up all the initiates. I assume Gregor can communicate with his boss. I think the pilot's just watching me until I go.
That is possible. Currently he is in hiding. Apparently your world's representative, an unofficial ambassador to the sisters here, discovered this arrangement and caused Gregor to, how shall we say, assault him.
Oh no.
Indeed.
So we're going to cut over to Chiyako. So Chiyako, you're hunting. He's a civilian. He kind of stands out like a sore thumb. Roll me dexterity and insight.
I got a 6.
Do you have any spell effects or Fabula points you want to apply?
I have plenty of Fabula points.
You are our resident dragon.
Hurrah. Alright, I'm going to reroll. I think 6 is my lucky number today, for some reason.
Apparently.
I'm going to use another Fabula point if I can.
You can, as you have them, yes.
It's getting worse. Now it's a 5.
So, luckily, this roll was not to see if you can find him. That's easy enough. This roll was to see how well you managed to hide. And unfortunately, the deck is in lockdown, so there's not many people going about. So you were stopped a couple times to check in with what you were doing by other host sisters, as they have their orders to check these things if people are going about their essential duties despite the lockdown. And then that's when he saw you. So once he sees you, he starts running.
Chiyako is going to run after him.
All right. How gentle are you going to be as you run him down?
What's gentle?
That answers the question, yes. Okay. In that case, roll me dexterity and might.
That is an 11.
You start running, he's trying to get away from you, going around corners. But you know this ship, he's a regular human. You run him down. You run, jump, kick off a wall, and you tackle him for 7 points of damage. And you have him, he's just like, get off me, let go, ah!
I won't be letting go of you anytime soon, sir. You're a wanted man.
Seeing the color of your armor, he realizes you're a silent luminary and goes quiet.
Oh, the silent treatment. Now you're just flirting with me.
And you drag him away. So all of this was happening simultaneously. Going back over to Alyssa, did you have any other questions you wanted to ask her?
I'm going to assume that this individual who blackmailed you put very clear what would happen if you told anyone else about this.
Yes, he promised to hurt my parents and make it look like an accident.
And I assume you do not know who he has under his thumb?
I mean, he has a small band of men who essentially work for him.
I see.
I think he said something about wanting some mineral that was on the man's land and the man wouldn't sell.
Well, just in case, we're going to, between you and I, pretend that you have shared nothing of interest with me, and we have only been slowly going over your biography.
Yes, ma'am, she says. So, Chiyako, you let them know that you have Gregor?
Yes, I do.
At which point Min Kyung says to you, take him to a holding cell.
May I play with them while we're there?
No.
You're not fun today, Minnie.
She does not
Jack
respond.
is going to do what she's told.
But at that point, Min Kyung looks at you, Petra, and says, if you'll excuse me. And then she walks off.
So I'm gonna look up at Yarrick, kind of toss my head in the direction of the ship, giving him a very clear look that he's supposed to make himself scarce now, in the direction of, the ship. And then I'm gonna follow after her.
Yes, Petra.
So Captain, the tour of the ship, I appreciate that. And she's basically going to be trying to see what Min Kyung's mental state is right now.
So you hit her with some questions. She gives terse, short answers. And it's at that point she pings to you, Alyssa. What have you found out from Kana?
I learned a lot about the culture of Hermitage. Also learned she is very excited to join the ranks of the sisters. Alyssa will look pointedly at Kana when she says that.
Roll me willpower and insight to lie to Min Kyung. I will, however, give you a +1 bonus because you're doing this over the coronet.
Okay.
So, luckily, 10 is enough. Petra, you follow Min Kyung to the holding cell that Chiyako has deposited him in. What do you do from here? Things are getting kind of tense. And Alyssa, you know that messing with the recruitment process for the sisters is a very grievous offense.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what this guy did to Kana's parents, correct?
Correct.
None of us do. We just know what he did to Ilsa.
I am going to check my sidearm, make sure it's loose in its holster, and then, what's the cell setup here?
This is a fairly typical bolted down table and some bolted down chairs.
Okay. Then I am going to stand in the corner behind him, where I have a nice view of the back of his head, and I'm just going to stand there.
He is very nervous. He has 3 host sisters, each from a different host, looming around him, one of whom from the Silent Luminaries, which has a very particular reputation in the galaxy at large. So at the moment, things are in your court, Alyssa. What do you want to do from here?
I assume he's seated at a table with a chair across from him?
Yes.
If oddly sized.
How did Alyssa get there before Min Kyung did, though?
No. Alyssa's not there, but as it stands right now, things are kind of...
Has Alyssa been summoned, or is because I assume there took some time to bring him into an interrogation room and interrogate him,
Alyssa has not been summoned yet, so you're waiting, Petra's waiting, and Min Kyung is waiting on Alyssa's additional information, since that's currently the active thing going on to get more information before proceeding. So Alyssa has wound up having the reins of this situation currently.
If Alyssa is asked, Alyssa will say she wants to interrogate this person first wants to do an initial before anything else, but also Alyssa is protecting Kana. Alyssa promised that she's going to keep her information under wraps for now. She's going to commit to that. Okay. If she's asked what was the interrogation, she says mostly conversations about Sen, but nothing particularly useful to act upon.
You have no new information from Initiate Kana.
I have no clear-cut information, though information I learned about her homeworld has given me some insights that I think may have given me some theories that I would like to gather more evidence on before committing to.
Then how do you wish to proceed?
I think we should interrogate Gregor and see what he says.
Very well. Get on that.
With your permission, I shall.
And Min Kyung will withdraw from the room.
Oh. Gregor.
You enter the room, say that, and goes, "Oh, another one. What can I do for you?" he says in an attempt to be nonchalant. A poor attempt.
Gregor, allow me to be exceptionally blunt here. We have video footage of you attacking someone in what was clearly an attempted murder.
He was threatening to sick his pet host sister on me. I was defending myself, he says.
Let me be, again, very blunt here. We have video of your attempted murder. You are on a ship full of host sisters, and you are under the legal jurisdiction of the Queendom. Your fate, from this point forward, is going to come down to one thing, and that is how cooperative you are. Because bluntly, the only thing we do not currently have is your motive for doing so, because bluntly, you did it clearly, based on the footage we have, to shut him up, which means the victim learned something that you tried to cover up. So this is your one chance to give me information, to tell me what you can, which then in turn can be used to possibly soften your punishment for the crime that we have you dead to rights on.
Roll me willpower and insight with a +2 bonus.
That is a garbage roll.
That is a 7.
I'm going to, a 7, a 2, 3 plus 2. Not great.
A lot of bad rolls in the second half.
It happens. Roll 20, baby. I'm going to spend a Fabula point to invoke Angry Perfectionist.
All right.
I definitely can do this better.
Although, if anyone from Roll20 is listening, we like your platform. We do.
We appreciate the value exchange.
And
it's pretty good.
And if you want to donate to the Queendom, we'd be perfectly okay with that.
Official sponsorship would be great, actually. That's better. That's a 12.
He looks at you, and the full weight of the situation kind of crushes down on him, and he goes, Yeah, I was stupid. I tried to shut him up, and It was a stupid thing to do, I'll admit. Normally it works for me, but it was not the correct thing to do in this situation, or in this current place and time.
I agree. And the fact that you failed to kill him is actually incredibly lucky on your part. So, because, again, you failed to kill him, we are giving you an opportunity to cooperate, and a demonstration of a willingness to cooperate will likely soften your sentence.
All right, well, what do you want to know? What do you want me to say? He says.
What is your job?
Okay, I work for a guy named Regis down on Hermitage, right? I do skilled and unskilled jobs for him. I also, if he needs something miscellaneous done, I do that too. Being a pilot to here, dropping off the Kana girl, that was one of those miscellaneous tasks.
So he had you bring her here. May I ask why?
Needed to make sure she went off with the sisters to go do whatever it is that happens when girls go to join the sisters.
What? Says Petra from the corner in the back.
Now, I assume that your operation had some means of making sure she didn't come to us and inform us of this. And since you aren't here all the time, there must be something that you have in place to keep her from, I don't know, telling the sisters so they can retaliate against this.
Okay, so I flew in, dropped her off.
Right?
It's been about a week, so I've been here about a week, all right?
Okay.
The main shuttle ship to take the girls away should be here, I was told, in the next 3 to 5 days. So letting me stay here that long, I stay on my ship when I need to sleep, was allowed. So I've been kind of looming, I think is the word.
So you're basically it. The only thing that keeps her on task?
Yes.
Good. Also, and I don't think this should go without saying, but if I find out her parents have been killed for whatever reason, you will be an accomplice to that, understood?
Yes.
Very good.
Petra says from the corner in the shadows, we're just going to let this be.
We're not planning to let this be. We're figuring out we're figuring out if there are any potential leaks in the boat.
I say we shoot him.
I think that will put another leak in the boat. I don't mind, but that may be counterproductive for now. In the meantime, she's been on the opposite side of the room, staring straight at the sky the whole time, just letting her hands twitch, and she sways side to side.
And you guys see the set of Petra's jaw, and you notice that her pistol is not only unlatched, but the safety is off. You know, she is about half a second away from literally shooting this guy in the back of the head for what he's just admitted to doing.
Petra, I'm going to ask you to not shoot him in the back of the head, both to not make me immediately a liar, and also because he is currently our main thread towards the larger mind behind this conspiracy. However small it may be.
All right. So, he says, my boss, Regis, told me to make sure that the girl gets on the ship and never comes back.
You wouldn't happen to implied or even outright said why that was the case, or is that just the instructions he gave?
Okay, so the girl, from what I understand, saw something that she shouldn't have. We're a small community on Hermitage, so another death happening so soon after one death would be weird, but her going and deciding to join the sisters to fight aliens and, I don't know, whatever, seemed like a good, clean way to make sure things ran smooth.
And it all comes together.
So my boss talked to the girl. She agreed to go and join you, and I'm just making sure she follows through.
Now can I shoot him?
No, Petra, you cannot shoot him.
Are you sure?
Sometimes we have to remind ourselves to be the better party.
I'm not sure this is one of those times, to be perfectly honest with you. He's just admitted to helping commit sacrilege against our queen, and I am annoyed by that.
He is an outsider, and I do not think he fully understands what he did.
It's at that point you hear heavy footsteps coming down the hall.
Oh, the captain's coming.
Shortly thereafter, you hear in your cornets, leave the room.
Let's go.
And Petra leans over to the guy and says in his ear, "You should have asked me to shoot you. It would have been better." And then she leaves too.
As you step out of the room, you see Min Kyung with a polearm with a long blade, and it is activated, swirling with thunder and Eris energy around it.
Petra looks at her, and the first thing she said is, "Please, let me do it."
All right, so that's what Petra says. Chiyako, what are you doing in this situation?
He is imagining all of the possible things that is about to happen to this guy. And he's just smiling. She's gonna skip out and leave the room.
Okay, we have one person who's begging to do, who says, please let them do it. The other one's just smiling, imagining the possibilities. Alyssa, what are you going to say, or what are you going to do here?
Alyssa is going to look at the polearm and say, "It's a very impressive weapon. Is there a reason you're showing it off?"
He has attempted murder on my ship, and he has interfered in our recruitment process. I see no reason to let him live at this point.
Petra looks over to Alyssa and kind of just points at Min Kyung and nods. Yeah, she's got a good idea.
Alyssa's going to stare at Petra for a little bit.
You are not helping.
He's going to stare back at Min.
Yeah, you can see between the monster attack that got too close due to an accidental infiltrator, the attempted murder on someone that she cares about, and the violation of the Gathering of New Sisters has kind of pushed her over the edge. No, she's not like crazy, but she is definitely...
This guy is such a source of problems for her. She wants something. I got it. It's been a pretty awful day.
It has. So she is about ready to go kill this guy unless you have something you want to try. Since the other two players are kind of on team kill the guy, it falls to you.
Their responsibilities. Lovely. Being the one lawful character in a band of rogues is very odd. Anyways.
Chaco's merely abstaining.
Take a Fabula point, Ira.
Sister, what this situation calls for is justice.
Isn't that what I'm doing? She says.
It calls for justice. Justice for you. Justice for this ship. Justice for Kena. Justice for Kena's parents. And justice, Hermitage. And justice for Il-sung. Justice is not fulfilled through indulgence of personal desires born in the aftermaths of a series of personal humiliations.
Exactly, that's why you should let me do it.
First of all, we need this person alive so that the person who is truly responsible for this can face proper justice. And second of all, it is important that the justice itself is just and not simply those who have the power to take what they want, taking what they want. It has to be fair and correct.
All right, roll me willpower and insight, and I'll give you a +2 bonus for the role-playing and the mentioning of justice for Il-sung.
Not bad.
All right, 15. That is enough. At which point, she looks at you, takes her polearm, and strikes the bulkhead embedding it into the wall. At which point she says, "Get it done. I'll be elsewhere." And she walks off.
Alyssa is going to stand there for a bit, watching her walk down the hallway, and when Alyssa can no longer see her anymore, is going to then walk away a bit, walk up to a wall, and place her hands up against it as she rests her head against it.
Chiyako's gonna peek her head in and look at the guy and say, "See? You had some good luck."
And collectively, everyone takes a breath.
I lean over to Chiyako. What do you think Lisa would do, like, internally in her brain, like to shock the guy now when he was?
Well, internally scream. Probably yell at you a lot.
Go on.
There would be a lot of paperwork involved, and well, Minnie would be really mad at you too because you took the satisfaction away. And sorry, Petra, I wouldn't be able to forgive you for doing that either.
That's a good point. I don't like paperwork.
Also, I would have to charge you for murder, would be incredibly inconvenient.
Yeah, but that's a minor detail.
So much paperwork. All right, narrating a few things. Gregor is put into a holding cell. He is going to be dealt with appropriately for his interference. A smaller ship with some sisters with instructions to take Regis into custody is sent out. He will be joining Gregor. Min Kyung is currently in the infirmary with Il-sung. It seems that cooler heads are prevailing. What are each of you doing?
Alyssa is going to is going to go to Kana, brief her on the update that, like, there's only one guy that knows that she's, to make sure she's running, so they're going to move probably to protect her family, and they're going to hide the fact that she has not disappeared yet until something can be done. Now, there's absolutely no government on Hermitage.
Not officially, no. It's a small enough settlement that people just kind of settle things by group vote.
Lisa's going to say that basically the sisters are going to have to send a representative down there to basically, at one of these group votes, present the information to inform them that this guy, what he did, so they can vote to give the sisters permission to take the guy.
That can be part of the instructions for the ship sent to Hermitage to take Regis into custody.
Mm-hmm. And until then, it cannot get out at all that Kana has not gone on the initiate recruitment ship. Assuming she doesn't want to go. I assume she doesn't.
Ever since your talk with her and picking up what's been happening, she's been very pensive. You think she's considering a lot of things at this point.
Alyssa will then, once Alyssa realizes that's what's happening, Alyssa will tell her that she shouldn't join at this point, but think about it. And if after a year sitting on it, and if she wants to do it after a year of potentially sitting on it, then she should do it, because then she knows it's her choice.
If I do decide to join, can I join the Daughters of Harmony? She says.
You choose which one you wish to join. So if you wish to join the best one, that's obviously an option.
Oh, nicely done.
Well played.
All right, and she is left to her pondering. Chiyako, what are you doing? The man is being dealt with, and Min Kyung is in the infirmary.
So, over the next little while, one thing Chiyako is going to be doing is, at meal times, bringing food to Minnie, and it's going to be like all decorated, like pancakes with smiley faces, or like meatloaf in the shape of a dinosaur, or something like that, just to, cheer her up a little bit. The other thing I want Chiyako to focus on is the situation with Tara and seeing if you can help in some way to get Hara out of here. Maybe attempt at negotiating a few things, since she knows these people better than others, and seeing if some supplies can be spared, perhaps to help finish fixing Hara's ship.
At one point when you bring her some veggies and noodles that you've kind of turned into like a face with like long hair, kind of hard considering it's liquid based, but somehow you managed to pull it off. She says, "In all of this, I never told you where your sisters were, and I'm sorry for that."
Oh, that's all right. Things happened. A lot of things happened. We got busy.
Your sisters are in the Bari cluster. Where in the Bari cluster, I cannot say. That's where they told me they were heading to hunt the leviathan.
Leviathan. Okay. Thank you.
At which point she just kind of like grabs your shoulder, says, "I hope they are safe."
I do too. But even if not, it's a wonderful way to go.
"You are very strange, but you are you. And what else could you be?" she says.
Only ever myself.
Shortly after that, Alyssa, you are called in.
You asked to see me?
Yes. In regards to the Kaimon,
Ah,
official rules on this would be that she attempted to infiltrate, which means she would be up to me to deal with. So I don't just want to send her on her way, but I don't want to keep her here. So I am officially remanding her to your custody. Take her and her ship and just take her away from here.
Isn't it wonderful? We get to keep another friend. Chiyako's literally like bouncing on her feet right now, clapping her hands, doing a dance, everything.
it is the duty of a sister to aid her fellow sisters.
And it's at that point that Il-sung kind of goes, "Ugh. Gregor, what?" Min Kyung looks at him. She says, "It's all right. He's been dealt with. You're going to be fine." Looks at you, Alyssa, says, "Could you give us the room, please?"
I am your guest at your invite, and I shall leave at your dismissal.
And as you leave, Min Kyung turns to Il-sung, and you hear her say, "I think you shouldn't come here anymore." And that's where that will cut. Petra, how are you going to see us off?
Everybody's getting back to the ship, and Petra's overseeing the loading of the ship with provisions and whatnot by, mostly doing it herself, kind of working off some frustration. And she looks over to Lisa, and they come up. "Lisa, got a question for you.
Ask it.
Is justice a process or an outcome?"
It is neither. It is a goal.
I don't know what that means.
Things are the way they should be. And when they are not, it is justice to return them to that state.
So it's an outcome.
An outcome is too simple. An outcome only cares about the end. Justice isn't the end. It is also the process in which it is done. It is not just what is reaped. It is it is what is seeded, and what is watered, and what is grown. It is every part of it.
That sounds like a lot of guilty people walk away from getting their just desserts.
It annoys you that when people commit their crimes, they often do not proportionately suffer for them. But is that because they need to suffer? Or is it because you think that they've gotten away with it?
She looks confused for a second. Like, I'm not as good with words as you are. I'm just here to fight. But it bugs me that somebody does something that they shouldn't and gets away with it. It bugs me that they aren't facing the consequences of their actions. That's not right, Alyssa.
It isn't. And it should bug you. And because it bugs you, it makes you intervene. In the same process, you have to ask, what will actually fix this? Killing a mugger will stop a mugging, but it won't solve mugging.
That's a start.
Unless you have the logistical resources to kill every mugger. It's not a solution. It is a start that has no end.
You know, and she kind of waves a finger, kind of like, that's a good point. Because Chiyako made a good point here.
Sorry, I didn't hear you. What?
So, she kind of tucks her chin into her chest and says, crosses her arm, Chiyako made a good point here. I would have hated the paperwork. And then she walks away.
And on that happy note, that's where we'll end things. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you all for listening in, dear subjects. I hope everyone here had fun.
Yes.
I had a good time.
So things got tense there for a bit. Fun times. And
I should have shot him.
I mean, I thought you were for a second. 2/3 of the party being, oh yeah, go ahead, kill the guy.
It's me ship, not ours.
As I said, thank you all for watching. If you want to do the typical YouTube things of liking and subscribing, that helps the Queendom grow. And
We certainly wouldn't hate you for it.
yeah, we would not hate you. We would not hate you a whole lot if you liked and subscribed.
We wouldn't even shoot you.
And you'd avoid the paperwork. So, until next time, fare thee well, subjects.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.